Hello everyone, I'm the Quiet F, and in this video I'm going to be recapping Hokkaido gals are super adorable. So, without further ado, let's recap. Tsubasa and his friends go to a karaoke place, and he's amazed by Minami's singing skills. Sayuri asks him if he's used to going at a place like this, but he says he only went a couple times with his family, so he got pretty nervous when Minami invited him. Sayuri is embarrassed that she only goes to karaoke alone, but Tsubasa says it's fine, we all have our own thing. They're both trying to find a song for them to sing, and Minami comes to the rescue when she sees that they can't make up their minds. And, instead of helping them choose, she invites them to sing alongside her. Afterwards, the guys are worried about the final exams being way too extensive, while the girls are talking about their nails. Then, Minami says it's almost Valentine's Day, and starts looking at chocolate. While the other guys don't seem to care too much about it, Tsubasa wonders if Minami is going to give chocolate to anyone. Another guy asks her for it, and she says she's gonna make chocolate for everyone in the class, just like she did the year before. Tsubasa says that in Tokyo, he would only get chocolate from his family, and both Minami and Sayuri seem to be planning to do something about it. Although Sayuri says she would rather use her money for hobbies instead of making chocolate. When they leave, both girls want to talk to Tsubasa. Minami asks if he had fun, and he did. He was happy she invited him, and she says she would definitely do it again, because he was a great singer. When he asks what Sayuri wants to say, she says it's nothing, but she stares at her phone, where she's looking at ideas to find out what kind of chocolate Tsubasa likes. Sayuri is secretly thinking about giving Tsubasa chocolate, but she tries to shake that thought out of her head, because she needs to focus on the event of the game she's playing. But she can't stop thinking about it, so she decides to go buy the chocolate without anyone finding out. But her plan fails immediately, because as soon as she enters the store, Minami shows up behind her, saying that she came to buy ingredients for the chocolate she's going to make. Sayuri tries to pretend she's there to buy cosmetics, and Minami believes it, so the both of them end up buying something. Minami asks her what kind of chocolate she likes, and she says ganache is her favorite. And when Minami is about to leave to go buy her ingredients, Sayuri asks if she can tag along, because she wants to make chocolate to her as well, and Minami gets super happy about it. When they're leaving the store, Sayuri asks if Minami wants to give Tsubasa real chocolate, since they are so close. Minami wonders if she wants to do the same, since they are also close. But Sayuri says they only play video games together. Both of them get embarrassed after talking about Tsubasa and say their goodbyes, walking away from each other with their faces all red and confused about what to do next. Meanwhile, Tsubasa is studying for his final exams, and he gets distracted thinking about Valentine's Day, but he's determined to not let it mess with his studying. At night, Sayuri is about to start making her chocolates when she gets a text from Minami asking if she needs any help, since she was almost done with hers. They get in a call and Sayuri says she wants to make something simple, so Minami starts instructing her on what to do. Her practice playing games makes her cut the chocolate really fast, and she's really good at following instructions, so everything goes smoothly. When she asks what kind of chocolate Minami made, she answers that she'll have to wait until school, but she reveals she made 70 pieces, which was a record for her, and she doesn't mind doing so much because chocolate makes everyone happy, and this is enough for her. Minami asks Sayuri who she was thinking about when she was making the chocolate, and she was embarrassed to say it was Minami herself, which makes her squeak of happiness. She teasingly asks if she was thinking about someone else, because she's been wondering if Sayuri and Tsubasa like each other. But in the middle of her question, her elbow hits a soy sauce carton, and it falls down on the table, messing everything up and ruining most of her chocolate. Sayuri asks what happened and she tells her, but she pretends everything is okay. She'll just have to clean it up. She wishes Sayuri good luck and hangs up the phone. The next day, Tsubasa arrived at school without having slept for a second, because he spent the night studying for the exams. And, as he has predicted, there's not a single piece of chocolate in his locker. Minami greets him in class, and he notices her eyes are a bit red. She gives a store-bought piece of chocolate, and he's really happy about it, which makes her smile. But he notices it wasn't a very honest smile. Sayuri also shows up and gets a chocolate from her, and other people in class start asking her for a piece as well. Matsuo complains that the chocolate is not homemade, and Minami explains that the production was suspended due to unforeseen circumstances. And Matsuo is not happy about it. Minami tries to pretend it didn't bother her, and when Matsuo leaves the room, Sayuri goes after him. She says that if he ever talks to Minami like that again, she's going to beat the crap out of him, and he believes her. During class, Tsubasa notices Minami's sadness. Afterwards, the both of them are cleaning the music room, and Tsubasa thanks her again for the chocolate, but she starts crying uncontrollably, and Sayuri sees it. Tsubasa wants to know what happened, so Minami tells him about the accident with the chocolate. She wanted to give chocolate to everyone, and she feels like she disappointed them. even Tsubasa. Her mom asked her to clean up first and she didn't listen, and then she embarrassed a friend on the phone. She was acting so carelessly that now she's being punished for it. Tsubasa decides he needs to do something for her, and the only thing he can do now is play the piano to try and cheer her up. He plays the song she was singing at karaoke, and Minami is amazed that he learned it by ear. He says he decided to play this specific song because Minami is always cheering him up, so he wanted to do the same for her, and it works. She stops crying and starts laughing at how hard Tsubasa tries sometimes. Sayuri finally shows up, saying that she has chocolate to deliver. Minami thinks she's talking about Tsubasa and starts leaving, but Sayuri blocks her path with a box of chocolate, just like she had promised. Minami can't contain her happiness and hugs Sayuri, asking if she can eat them right away, while Tsubasa's face is all red, because he also thought the chocolate was for him. But then he also gets a bag, since Sayuri had some extra dough after she made the ones for Minami. She hides her face because it's getting red, and says that he was really cool at the piano earlier. After all this embarrassment, the three of them sit down to eat their chocolates. Well, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you won't miss anything new. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye. The final exams are a week away, but Tsubasa had already been through every subject he needs to study, so now he only has to review the hardest parts. Minami, on the other hand, is anxious because it feels like they had just got out of the midterms and jumped straight to the finals. She doesn't like doing exams, and Tsubasa says they're a good way to see your efforts paying off, which makes Minami more motivated to study. She asks him if he's free later and invites him to study at her house. She invites Sayuri too, and both of them think that having Tsubasa there is going to make it easier, because he's really smart. So he's basically their private tutor. They get to Minami's house and she reveals that there's no one home. She asks them to wait in her room while she gets something for them to drink. Tsubasa tells Sayuri that he's been there before, but they only stayed in the living room watching movies, so he doesn't know what Minami's room looks like. But Sayuri calls him a pervert anyway. They enter the room, and the look and smell of it make Tsubasa wonder how Minami spent her time there, and his mind wanders a bit too much, which leads to Sayuri calling him a pervert again. Minami arrives at drinks and turns in the heat. The drink is a Hokkaido classic, and it gets them hyped up for studying. So Minami proposes they quiz each other. They start studying world history, and both Tsubasa and Sayuri answer the questions correctly, but Minami is completely clueless about everything, and tries to hide it by asking about something related to Kitami. But the others call her bluff and try to motivate her. While they study, Tsubasa's grandma is preparing dinner at home. Afterwards, Minami and Sayuri are exhausted after all that studying, and Tsubasa says they did a great job. He looks at the time and realizes it's past his curfew, so he quickly says goodbye and rushes home. But as soon as he opens the door, he runs into Minami's mom and falls right into her huge, soft melons. She decides to give him a ride home, since his house is close, and reveals that Minami told her about his piano skills. She was worried about Minami on Valentine's Day because of the accident with the chocolate, but she came home all smiles and couldn't stop talking about Tsubasa and the piano, which was a relief, and she thanks him for helping her daughter. She drops him home, amazed at the size of it, and gives him a bottle of soda as a gift for helping Minami study. His grandma is about to go Super Saiyan because he arrived late, and she scolds the hell out of him. The next day, she asks him to drop off the trash while he's leaving for school, and he's still thinking about last night's scolding session. She said that if he wants to keep living at her house, he must follow her rules. This time she's gonna let it slide, but if it happens again, he knows what's gonna happen to him. While he walks to school, he looks ahead and sees a beautiful girl staring at some crows on the dumpster with a stick on her hand. He notices she's not Japanese, and her beauty complements the snowy landscape. But the magic dies when she tries to hit the crows with the stick and they fly away. The girl notices him staring and says that now that she had drove the crows away, he could throw out his trash with no worries. Then she says goodbye and leaves. At school, Minami tells him that girl is Rina-senpai, and she completely adores her. She won the school beauty contest 2 years in a row and is a legend around there. And Tsubasa thinks about how un-Japanese her beauty is. Minami invites him to another study party, but he turns her down, saying that from now on, he wants to study alone so he can concentrate better. But the real reason is that he doesn't want his grandma to get mad again. She then invites Sayuri, but she also turns her down because last time they ended up talking instead of studying. During lunch, Minami notices Tsubasa was gone and goes sit with Sayuri, who is researching strategies for her game. She points out that Minami needs constant attention and that she might be mad at Tsubasa for turning down her studying invitation, and she tries to play it cool. Meanwhile, Tsubasa decides to try out studying in the library. It's quiet when he hears someone snoring. She looks around and sees Rina-senpai sleeping, and she looks so beautiful it makes his stress from studying go away. He keeps staring at her and she wakes up. He's so distracted with her beauty, she ends up catching him staring, and when he tries to refocus on his studies, she shows up right next to him. She says she's in the library committee, so she has authority over there, and as long as she approves, it's perfectly fine to sleep in there. Tsubasa says he doesn't mind, and Rina notices he has perfect posture and starts touching him. He's obviously super embarrassed. She apologizes for interrupting his studies and points out that one of the questions that were marked as correct was actually incorrect. Tsubasa realizes she's right, and she wishes him good luck on his studies and goes away, leaving him wondering if she figured out the mistake after just one look at it. After school, Tsubasa gets home and his grandma is sitting at the doorstep waiting for him. She spent the whole day thinking about what she could do to support him. She realizes he's at an age where she can't understand everything that is happening to him, but since he arrived at Hokkaido, he has dropped his guard and needs to develop his mental fortitude. So she orders him to participate in the tea ceremony, which will help him eliminate his carnal desires. In other words, he's horny and needs to dial it down. It would be his first tea lesson since arriving in Hokkaido, but he says he didn't forget anything about it. It's just like riding a bike. But when they're about to start the ceremony, the doorbell rings and Tsubasa goes answer. It was Rina-senpai bringing the neighborhood bulletin, and they both realize they are next door neighbors. Tsubasa officially introduces himself to her, apologizing for the delay, but she's not paying attention because she's mesmerized by his Japanese style clothes. She's so fascinated by it that she drops the bulletin and hugs him, just to get a feeling of the fabric. His grandma shows up at the exact same time, ready to go Super Saiyan again. Rina saves him from another scold, saying that she had slipped and Tsubasa was kind enough to catch her before she fell. She hands him the bulletin, Grandma thanks her for bringing it, and she leaves. Grandma says that it's always the master of the household who brings her the neighborhood bulletin, so it's her first time seeing Rina. And she says she's a lovely girl. She calls Tsubasa, but he's still staring at Rina while she leaves. Grandma says that there's no need for tea anymore. She finally realized what is troubling Tsubasa's mind, and there's no need to develop his mental fortitude if it'll keep getting disrupted. What he needs is a real sense of the danger he's getting into. Then she gives him an ultimatum. He's going to get into the top 10 highest scores in the final exams. If he's unable to do that, she will send him straight back to Tokyo. Well, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you won't miss anything new. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.